Good afternoon. The Arts Council for Monterey County welcomes you to our monthly online segment, Artist Spotlight. I am Karen Lee Garcia, the program's director, and today I am so pleased to welcome Ruth Rodriguez, Community Services Manager at CHISPA Housing, and Jessica Ansberry, our Arts Council Arts is Healing teaching artist. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
So, Ruth Rodriguez is a lifetime resident of Monterey County and is currently the manager for community services at Community Housing Improvement Systems and Planning Association, also known as CHISPA, the largest nonprofit affordable housing developer in Monterey County. Ruth is responsible for the daily operation of the Community Services Department, which provides programs and services directly to families living at CHISPA Housing. Ruth has a BA in Human Communications with a minor in Service Learning from California State University, Monterey Bay. She has a long history of participation with community groups and activities focused on community health, education, and equity. Ruth has previously served on the Grid Alternatives Board of Directors and served as a planning commissioner for the city of Greenfield from 2007 through 2010. She is also a 2012 LEAD alumna, currently serving as board member for the Point Lobos Foundation. Welcome, Ruth. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
And then we have Jessica Ansberry is a visual artist specializing in acrylic and watercolor painting, hand lettering, illustrating, and art installations. She is the owner of Progress Not Perfection Paint Parties, which provides mobile paint parties, virtual events, supplies, and so much more. Over a year ago, Jessica teamed up with fellow creatives Niall Estep and Chris Powers to successfully launch local art and business collective, the Shop Monterey on 10th Street, which is still thriving today. A few months ago, Jessica teamed up with Chris Powers and Johnny Wick's Candle Company to open a new venue called Locally Lit, a paint and candle making workshop in downtown Monterey. Jess loves to create art every day, collaborate, and help inspire individuals to find and follow their own creative journey. You can find Jessica working out of the shop or locally lit locations, painting at various local venues, or holding virtual painting events locally and internationally. Jessica is also an Arts Council for Monterey County teaching artist, working with our Arts is Healing programs and specifically the seniors at two CHISPA housing locations. And welcome, Jessica, to our program.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So let's get started. We are here to talk about the wonderful Arts is Healing programming that's taking place. But I want to start with Ruth because she is, can really share what took place during, the lockdown at CHISPA Housing. So Ruth, I want to get started with you sharing about that.
Yes, hi. I don't know how familiar many of you guys are with CHISPA. So CHISPA has a multifamily development, and aside of having multifamily developments where families live, so rental properties throughout the county, throughout the Tri-County, we have seven senior developments serving seniors. So we have 333 senior units in Monterey County, Monterey and San Benito County. So moving forward, some of the things that CHISPA takes pride in is we have these great community rooms. We do congregate meals, art classes, programming, Zumba, really whatever the residents want to have in their community, we bring it forward to them. So during 2020, when the shutdown happened, it was really tough on our seniors, given that they were we wanted to have them socialize and come out and be part of our community events. So because they were the most vulnerable population during this time, we really wanted to keep them safe. So this meant bringing in their meals door to door. So some of the steps that CHISPA took was providing the meals individually wrapped warm meals to them at their door, having wellness calls done on a weekly basis, providing shopping or any essential needs that they needed. And Another big need was that the need to socialize and be part of something else. So we started having some Zoom activities and including some activity art kits for our
Mhm.
seniors. So that was some of the challenges and struggles we faced during the year, that we didn't have any in-person services and programming at all of our senior sites. So they dearly missed having the Arts Council on site and having an artist on board working with our seniors. But we made it through through the tough
Shut
time.
down, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was you had a partnership too for the wellness calls. Who were you partnered with for those check-in calls with the seniors?
Yeah, there's no way we could have done that alone. Definitely not. We had Blue Zones Project, and then we had Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital come together and train a group of volunteers. So we trained volunteers on Zoom. We provided lists of our senior sites, and these calls were done weekly, checking in individually to somebody that you knew their name, and really starting these conversations, just checking in. If it was just a moment to chat and talk, that was fine. If it was like, hey, I really need some groceries, or I'm going through the struggle, or I'm having anxiety over something happening, or how do I get this paperwork in? So really just navigating and working and providing essential services and that listening ear that many times they needed.
All right, wonderful. And I appreciate, kind of hearing the background, because right now we do want to share a video of one of your sites, Sherwood Village, where another of our teaching artists, Paula Verche, has been with your program for many years. And that space is unique because there's actually an art studio there. And I want our audience to see, what that experience is like for the seniors. So if we can
Let
have
me
that.
give them a quick introduction just on
Sure.
Sherwood Village. So I mentioned we have 333 senior units. Sherwood Village is our largest, 124 senior units in Salinas, right across the street from the rodeo, for seniors 55 and over. So this is a younger group of seniors. But yeah, they're very fortunate. They have their own art room, and their favorite class is the art class. So we'll see that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
A lot of these girls have been with me for a while, and we do other things than just painting. We have fabulous paper art. We've made books, milfoil beads. You guys should have brought your stuff in. The tiles. We do every type of art.
I started like 5 years, going on 6 years with Paula. I've been here 7, going on 8. And at first I go, no, I don't think it's for me. And there was somebody here that I knew. She goes, come on, you have to try it. I go, there is in my blood. I go that, they paint and they draw and they do a lot of stuff. And ever since then, I've been coming and I practice at home. And that's where I got that. And then I surprise her too with certain stuff too. Yeah. So now, we keep our word, and she's a wonderful teacher. She's a wonderful teacher.
Right, I used to hate art in school because I was always made to feel I didn't have any talent. So I never thought I had talent. And I came here and she just started saying things that I had never even conceived of, like, well, you do the background first and you do this, and if you want to make flowers, you blah blah. I mean, these are a couple of things that I did, and she said, not as good as hers, but how to make palm trees and sunsets and and this color, because she's showing us how to mix colors. So the color of this iris is all mixed out of these colors here. Gives you such a relaxed feeling when you put yourself into it and start just concentrating on it.
Creating something beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
It is very calming to come in here, and all the colors are very inspirational. And Paula is a great teacher because she can teach each one of us who are at different levels. You know, I'm very much a beginner, and some others have been with her for years. But you feel surprised by some things, and you feel an accomplishment in other ways. And it's fun, and you really do feel lighter when you leave here. I do.
Wonderful. I love that video so much, and it makes me want to actually go there and paint with them a couple times a week. And I know they're only there, I think, once a week.
Twice at Sherwood.
Twice a week. Okay, twice a week. But with that group, they're so tight knit. I know that they could be there daily. They just love it, and they have such great work, and you can just sense the community that they're creating in that space. So I want to transition over to Jess to talk a little bit about your experience working at the two different sites. So take it away.
All right. Yeah. So I get to work one day a week at Marina Manor, and then another day a week for a couple hours at Gensei. And I've just been loving it. And, you know, sometimes there's a couple people that join us. Sometimes there's 5 or 6. Sometimes there's only one. And in my experience, whoever joins is exactly who needed to be there that day. Like how the conversations end up happening and the things we end up talking about. It's very clear to me that people are just in the right place at the right time. And so it's been fantastic. You know, the last round of classes we did, I think I forgot to tell you guys this, but a couple of the women wanted to take me out to dinner to celebrate like our final class.
Oh.
So they were trying to coordinate it, and they said, and we go to dinner at 3:30 p.m. Okay. And they said, and anywhere you want to go. And so I said, well, I like this kind of food. I like this. They said, no, how about we just go get Chinese food? I'm like, all right, that's fine too. And we couldn't get it together. And so for the end of this one, we're going to try and do a dinner together.
I love that.
They're just fantastic. You know, there's a woman, what I love is if the programs don't fill up with residents, then, you know, people living in the community can come join as well. And there's one woman that's been joining at both locations, and she really has been fantastic at exchanging phone numbers with everybody. We all have each other's numbers. We all texted each other Happy Thanksgiving. I popped by Marina Manor on Thanksgiving just to say hi in case anybody was alone. So it's really just, you know, we paint together, we do watercolor together, and then we do so much more. You know, I know about their families. I know about their first boyfriends. I know about, you know, and they know about me. And I think about it. I miss my grandparents like every day. And there's something about talking to the residents at both locations that kind of like fills that for me. You know, I think any chance anyone gets to interact with a different generation than themselves is so beneficial for everyone involved, so we talk a lot about our childhoods and what we're doing currently. And the women I say women because right now it's been all women that have joined. But they, I don't know, they love having something to look forward to. They've shared that with me directly. And they love trying something new and getting together and just talking. And then, one of the women at Marina Manor, Betty, she goes between both locations on her motorized cart. Everyone in town knows her. And she's really like, I call her like the community manager at the place, because she'll go around and knock on doors of everyone who said they might want to try painting. And she'll tell them class is starting, let's go. And
Right. She's a full-time recruiter.
Yeah, she's a recruiter for sure. So there's just been amazing people that I've met through that. I just enjoy it so much.
No, I love that. And I definitely want to show, because we're going to show the projects you've been working on. You can talk a little bit about it, but as you're sharing right now, it is beyond what is happening on the paper. So, but let's show the audience some of the images, and you can tell us what we're seeing and who we're seeing here.
Oh yeah, that's Elsie and Betty. And Betty's in the yellow bow. And they're the dynamic duo. They, every day after class, they go out and run errands together. And Elsie drives and Betty carries the bags. They're fantastic. And so that was, we started with watercolor florals. And and then they all went to the dollar store and got these pieces of paper that are shiny and glittery. And they mounted these papers on different colors of glitter paper as kind of like a frame. And so Betty has her stuff, or she used to have her stuff all hanging on her door on the outside so people could see it. Yeah, there she is. She's so fantastic. They all are. She has a very natural light hand, Betty does. Oh, this is Jensei. And these are some of the residents. That was our first session. The woman in the mask actually has joined some of my parties out in the community with her daughter. And so she's been able to do acrylic with me also, and the watercolor here. Yep, there we go. She used to be a florist. And so she told me all about, she did floral arrangements, and she has a great eye for placement and color. So she's been able to paint. That was the first day she painted with me. And then she did quite a few others. And she also does a lot of gardening. So she's been able to talk about her garden with the other people that live there. Yes, look at that. She has lived all around the world, Helene, and she makes amazing pumpkin pie and coffee cake, and she brings that to us sometimes, and cookies. Yeah, look at that. I love painting poppies. Working with orange is a great way to learn about watercolor, mixing colors and all kinds of stuff. So she has painted with me quite a few times.
It's Gloria from Sherwood Village.
That's Sherwood, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sherwood.
Gloria is amazing. She's I was happy to see her speak out, because she said at one point she wasn't that person. So it's really brought out the best in her.
I love that.
Yeah. This gentleman's also at Sherwood Village. And again, like, he said in his video, he thought he didn't have the artistic ability. And that's one of the nice things about bringing the best in everyone in any way that you can do it. And also having that social moment to just, spend time with others and not feel isolated. And you learn about others without coming with a specific agenda. That's one of the things that we discussed, talking about how every CHISPA site is its own culture, it's its own identity. So what works at one site might not necessarily work at another one. And it just brings out the best in people, bringing them out and having them do something that relaxes their mind and gets them talking if they want to. And if they want to come back and have just a quiet time, they can also do that.
Right. And that kind of speaks to a little bit of Jess. If you can mention how the lessons have
Sherwood Village.
Yeah, there's a little bit more Sherwood Village.
Yeah.
We want to recognize them. There they go.
Yeah, and there's Paula. Paula's
Yep.
been with us for many years. Paula Verche's been a wonderful instructor. She's also done another one of our senior sites in Salinas, Los Abuelitos. And again, she's real fortunate to have that whole art studio and have all that art out there. It's beautiful and just does an amazing job and has a great connection with them. And then right around this time, they display their art. They have a holiday craft and art show. And I've asked, oh, are you guys selling your art so we could promote it? They're like, oh, no. So our residents take a lot of pride in their art. So I have felt very blessed to have been gifted some of their art. So very beautiful. Or, one year they did cards and they gave me a handful of them that we could send like thank you cards. And it was their art in it. Beautiful. So artistic, so many ideas. It really makes my job worth the while here at CHISPA.
That's wonderful, Ruth. And I did want just Jess to share a little bit about kind of how your projects start and evolved and how they're shaped just by your connections with the seniors.
Yeah, so I work with watercolor with them. I was kind of told you can come up with any workshop you want. So I did watercolor. I love watercolor. And then I also had I had other supplies that I was going to work in different projects, but they really, 1 week we work on flowers and I say, so next week we can work on different kinds of flowers. And they let me know, no, we want to work on watercolor landscapes next week. We want to try and learn how to paint water. And I'm like, all right, great. So sometimes they tell me like, here's what I want to paint next week. So we stuck with watercolor. One of the days we were talking about our childhoods and things we loved to do as a kid. I love to draw with crayon on the wall and that, and all of us love to play with paper dolls. So for the next week, I did some examples of like paper dolls, but with paint. So different dresses, because they could use what they learned to paint flowers, the same techniques to paint dresses. So they all designed their own dresses and their own bodies and their own, colors and it was amazing. So sometimes one day we were painting vegetables at Marina Manor. They get food delivered, like fresh produce and groceries. And so they get that delivered on the day I'm there. And so we'll sometimes pick out some of the produce from the box and use that as our example. And we'll work on that, and then that leads to a conversation about our favorite meals as a kid and what our parents used to make. And the women tell me what they used to make for their kids. And so then the next week, one of the women printed out a bunch of recipes and handed them out to us, around the holidays, I had us start practicing on watercolor cards because that's amazing paper. And if they end up liking their practice, now they have cards to send to each other. So we've all exchanged addresses and I'm hoping to get some holiday cards in the mail. We'll see. A couple of them made me cards. I was going out of town. I was going to Greece for an art workshop and they knew I would be gone for a couple of weeks. So I got some hand painted cards from them the week before I went. And I have to share this one, there's a woman that joins at Jensei and she had told me at the beginning, she said, I'm shaky and my hand shakes a lot. And so she was telling me it makes her kind of frustrated sometimes. So I told, I've been working with her on just go with the flow. If you have a shaky style, then you have a shaky style. It doesn't matter. So if I draw stuff out for her, I draw it with broken lines. I don't do a solid shape so that if she goes out of the line, she doesn't get frustrated. Mm-hmm. And she was telling me that her medical doctor prescribed her to go to this art class. They said, there's an art class there. Make your appointments around that art class. It's necessary for your like physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And so that just made me tear up when I heard that, and she had lost her son about a year ago. And so I've learned all about her son. She talked, when you're painting and you're keeping your hand busy, this stream of consciousness kind of starts to come out, especially if you're with someone who is there to listen, right? So I've learned all about her family. She has been able to kind of talk about the grieving process. And then another woman who joins Marina Manor and Jensei from the community, when they met at the class, I kind of knew that she had been through the same thing. And so I sort of mentioned that they may have some things to talk about. And this woman, she lost her son, I want to say about 8 years ago, and she's told me all about him in that process. So she was able to share with the woman who more, more recently lost her son, and they've been able to talk about things that no one else can really understand. I haven't lost a child. I can listen and I can empathize and I can, be there, but I don't fully understand. And these two women understand each other more than anybody. So they share resources, and I love this grief counseling group and phone numbers, and so it's just so it's like this watercolor,
Right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just see it as, what would happen if this class was not available? Would they have met? Would they have had a moment? Would they have lingered in the line? When the farmers market comes and have been able to have this conversation. So I just see your role there as just being just crucial. Especially hearing the story about the grieving process between these two residents, and it just makes me so happy that you're there, and that CHISPA, is such a huge supporter of the Arts is Healing program. And I know, Ruth, you were mentioning just in our previous conversation about just how, funding has changed over the years, and how in a positive way. If you want to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. So one of the things is that previously, like I had mentioned, it was probably early in the 2000s where a lot of foundations were looking at, outcomes as far as a measurement of how many people are you serving, how many numbers, how many kids are in the art class, after school programs, senior programs, but it was all about a number. And one of the things that, I vividly and clearly was able to identify is it really wasn't about serving 100 people at once, but really the quality versus the quantity of the program. And just looking at the quality, whether it was a small group, medium group, whatever really organically fit at that site. And we've been blessed in the past few years to really see that foundations are looking at more of the quality of the program. So not necessarily focusing on how many people you're serving, but really the quality that the program's doing it. And I'm really glad to have Jess in this call too, because one of the things that we also discussed is Junze Oaks, which she's at. So Junze Oaks is the newest senior development we have. And it opened up in January of 2020. So the residents had just moved in. They didn't know their neighbors. And the first thing we do is we usually start congregating, providing social events, looking at what's the interest in the community. Do you guys want Zumba? Do you guys want art, music? What is it that you guys want us to bring? And we're shut down a month later. So these neighbors didn't really get to know each other. And it was just, a tough situation. So having Jess come this past year has been wonderful. It's been beautiful because they're coming out, they're just getting to know each other. So and they have a beautiful community room with a nice fireplace that they can just enjoy. It's really a wonderful place for art. And I've had the privilege of being there with Jess and her class and watching them do some of this watercolor. And it's just, you sense the calmness and the peace at the moment that this is happening. They're having coffee or just talking and relaxing. And it's, whether 6 or 7 of them, it's not so much about the quantity of people that are there, but really the quality of the program and being able to have those one-on-one conversations.
And also the laughter, because I've been there and I've just been laughing, and to the point I need to actually go back to my computer, because there's so many, great stories that they're sharing, and the laughter is so healing. I've just enjoyed any time I've had to be in Jess's classes over the last year.
Yeah, it's a really good time. I'll tell you, talking about how lessons get planned or the different communities, and I don't know, I was just thinking about this, but the week prior, a couple of the women were talking about, they didn't call themselves a control freak, but they sort of kind of called themselves that. And so the next week, I decided we were going to do a letting go exercise. I didn't tell them that's what it was, but I took away paper towels and I gave them these big brushes, and they had to hold their paintbrush way back here and not up here, so back here. So it was this, and we laid down marks of color and just water. And they went, but I need to fix that. Nope, just keep going. Now this, now that, now. And then we let that dry. And then I showed them how to go in and look at what it was. and decide what it was and then turn it into what they wanted it to be, right? So it looks like a building, it looks like a whale, it looks like, and that was a blast. And I think what made me think of this was in that community room at Junsei. It's fantastic. They have dog TV going on or Pet World, and there's women singing and they're eating lunch, and they've said, "Do you need us to be quieter?" And no, because it all like adds to the experience. And so it was awesome because some of them came over and said, "Well, I'm looking at it upside down, and to me that looks like a flower pot." And I look, so it's even if they're not sitting at the class, we get to know each other. It's just a social, it's just so much fun. And then maybe they will eventually come to the class. A few of them have thought about it. I'm like, you don't have to. You can come just talk to us if you want to, but it is a great community room. And so it's easy to use the moment and the space as the inspiration for the class, because you just hear conversations and what people pick up on, or what they relate to, and then you can kind of turn a lesson and get a lesson out of that. So so that's a really fun one. And they loved what they made. They couldn't believe it. They did these full-on buildings and doors and windows and flower pots all out of no paper towel. And
you're gonna have to share those photos. I would like to see those projects.
I will.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. And, back to Ruth just for a second, what is the hopes and dreams, how to expand these offerings for the community?
So, we take pride in our programs being for CHISPA residents and the surrounding community. So yes, we do invite others to come in and be a part of it. They could bring a friend, a neighbor with them, and that's fine. So what we would look forward to is having more programming at all of our senior sites. Right now we have the Arts Council serving about 4 out of our 7 senior sites. It'd be really nice to bring you guys over to El Estero. That would be my hope, to have enough funding to have you guys at all of our senior sites, and not to have you guys just there once a week like Junzi and Marina, but really 3-4 days a week, whatever the seniors wanted to. So that would be my hopes for 2022.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that, because we do have a fundraising campaign right now through Monterey, through NC Gives, and it is specifically for the Arts is Healing program. So within our YouTube feed and Facebook feed, we'll be sure to add that link, because every dollar goes to helping us fund this program, bringing in Jess and other teaching artists, paying for supplies. So we're going to put that link in the feed, and any support is very much appreciated. And I just want to say thank you, so much to Ruth and Jess for your time here today. I can't even believe it's the end of 2020, but I'm just grateful for all of these moments that we've had together to create a community and magic and creativity here in our communities together. So, where can we find you online, Ruth? Where can we find CHISPA?
Just go into the CHISPA website, www.chispahousing.org. You can visit us there anytime.
Great. And then Jess?
Everywhere. No,
you're everywhere.
My website has quite a bit of information, and so that's pnppaintparty.com, as in progress, not perfection, paint party. And then I have too many Instagram accounts for the different businesses, but I'm Jess Ansberry Art on Instagram. That's where I share a lot of the watercolor things that I'm working on, and different lesson ideas that people can do at home. And then on Facebook, the Progress Not Perfection Paint Party Facebook page, I did a ton of complimentary paint parties when the pandemic started, and continued to do that because I didn't know what else to do. So I just posted them all online. We did them live. I paint with friends. I paint with family. And they've been viewed so many times in all different countries. And so I saved them all on the page. And so in the video tab, you have all these complimentary art lessons. A lot. You can paint a donut, a landscape, whatever you want. So that's always a fun one to do. They're all very family friendly, kid friendly, all ages can do it, all experience levels. So
Well, thank you for that free offering. And I know you have a lot of events in the community, so I encourage everyone to go and follow Jess Ansberry. She has tons of offerings throughout her multiple businesses, and appreciate both of you so much for joining us. And so for our audience, stay tuned for another artist spotlight on Wednesday, January 12th. 2022, and be sure to comment and share this video. And to learn more about the Arts Council for Monterey County, visit us at www.arts4nc.org. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.